From video games to TikTok to shorts to reels to Netflix. Overstimulation is ruining your life. If you really want to make lots of progress and if you really want to change your life, you need to stop destroying your brain. You need to stop frying your dopamine in your brain cells, and you need to stop and you need to combat overstimulation. Modern day has made you addicted to overstimulation, has made you addicted to video games and junk food and shorts and super ultra edited videos. But we're gonna fix this. We're gonna get through this together. So let's get into it. So if you don't know me, my name is Sasha, and I help young men improve their lives by teaching them self-improvement stuff from like books, podcasts, and my own experiences. So today we're going to talk about overstimulation, and overstimulation is when your brain is overstimulated, and it seems like the whole world has gotten hooked. Overstimulation and ultra super dopaminergic activities has gotten to everybody. So you need to know how to combat it if you really want to make a lot of progress, because if 99% of the world is overstimulated, then that 1% who isn't, who's actually doing good things to improve their lives, is going to just absolutely destroy them. And so you want to join that 1%. You want to be the 1%. We want to be the 1% that's able to combat overstimulation, that's able to not need to constantly be stimulated in order to feel happy. We want to feel happy just by being ourselves. We want to feel happy as a result of doing hard things and reading books and going on runs, right? We don't want to feel happy because we're being overstimulated. We don't want to feel happy because we played a bunch of video games and because we scrolled on. That's not where happiness comes from. And the single greatest thing you can do to combat overstimulation and like become that 1% is a dopamine detox. And a dopamine detox is pretty much just cutting out bad habits, cutting out super high dopaminergic activities, and as a result your dopamine baseline will rise. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, dopamine is like the motivation action molecule in your body. Think of it that way, right? It's the thing that drives action and motivation in your body. So the more you have of this molecule, the better. And when you're constantly being overstimulated, you're putting, like, think of it as artificial dopamine going into your body, and your own body is stopping its dopamine production because it has too much of it. Think of it that way, right? And so when you're constantly being overstimulated, when you stop that stimulation, when you stop playing video games, when you finish that scrolling session, you don't feel good. You never feel good after having scrolled for like 5 hours. You never ever do. And that's because all of your dopamine has just been drained. All of your dopamine has been absolutely destroyed. And so when you cut all of those bad things out, when you stop scrolling, when you stop playing video games, when you stop watching shitty YouTube videos, by the way, respect to you because this is like a pretty unedited video. I know we're only 4 minutes in, but like, still respect. Not a lot of people choose education over entertainment. But basically, when you do a dopamine detox, your dopamine baseline, so like the dopamine points, right, the dopamine fee you have in your body rises. And that means you become more motivated, you become more driven, and you become more productive. It's when you cut out stimulation that you beat overstimulation, right? Like it's and you might be like, no, I couldn't possibly ever stop playing video games. I couldn't possibly stop scrolling. How am I ever going to do this? Well, there are basically two things. And the first one being, you have to change your identity. You have to stop seeing yourself. You have to stop associating yourself with video games and with scrolling, right? Because if you see yourself as somebody who scrolls and who's overstimulated, then you're never going to get rid of those bad habits destroying your life, right? Like, I think if it's when you stop seeing yourself as a video gamer and a scroller that you overcome those things. And the second thing is improving your mental health. Because on top of a dopamine detox, if we can make you feel happy just by being here, just living, then you've already beat overstimulation, because overstimulation simply comes as a result of not feeling that your current state is enough. Overstimulation arrives and you overstimulate yourself because you're like, oh, my current state of being isn't good enough and I need more. I need to feel more pleasure, more happiness, more artificial dopamine. And when you improve your mental health, when you do things like gratitude journaling, when you go outside more, when you do meditation, you no longer want to spend that 3 hours scrolling because you already feel happy as is. Your current state of self, your current state of being is enough, and you're happy enough, and you don't need overstimulation to be happy. No, pretty short video today, but I hope this helped you, and I cannot wait to see the progress that you make. Love you, bro.